Hello, and welcome to the Streaming Rainbow Podcast, a place where we bring together our stories with your ears. These stories were originally recorded for YouTube, and now they are here for you in pure audio form. Join our crew of storytellers as we dive into fantastical realms and tell human stories. Grab your dice and buckle up your wizard hats. It's time for the games to begin. As a note, a list of the topics, themes, and subject matter featured in this podcast has been included in the episode description. Listener discretion is advised. And now, welcome to Halley's Children, Heaven's Eye, Episode 5, What Could Be.
Hello everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the last episode of the last chapter of Halley's Children. I told myself I wouldn't cry today, but we'll see what happens. I'm Serafina Smith, and with me for this finale are my players, the wonderful Eli, David, Courtney, and Cam. Halley's Children has been a game played with the Fate system by Evil Hat Games, and indeed, if any rules should be needed in this episode, we will still use those rules. But for the most part, we'll be playing a game similar to Microscope, which I'm calling Fabricator for flavor purposes. The rules of Fabricator are simple. Everyone takes turns creating aspects of the future. On your turn, you may ask a question, which everyone, myself included, will try to answer. You may state a fact, which everyone, myself included, will vote as to its truth. Or you may request a scene to be role-played by those present who wish to participate. In this way, we will finish the story of Halley's Children and shape the future of the Halleyverse, because Streaming Rainbow is not done with this world, with this universe. As you can see, I have a whiteboard set up here, which I will use to note down what we create. I've divided the board between two zones, bounded by the year 2066 on one side and the beginning of the human diaspora into space on the other. The zones are the dying days, which is the time during which those who choose to abandon their ageless immortality will live out the end of their lives, and the legacy, during which new generations and those who live on with their gifts will determine what that diaspora looks like. Now, I already have some pre-established facts in the fiction as the GM, and I retain the power to veto or course correct if we start to conflict with those. But other than that, I'll just be taking turns and playing along with you. Similarly, in matters of your own character's story, you have the same veto power. Does anyone have any questions before we begin? All right.
Nope.
Then who would like to take the first turn?
I would like a scene with Jelena.
All right. What sort of scene do you like?
I think it's like not maybe like 2 or 3 months after the reset, or I don't know what it's, the reckoning. I don't know what it's being called.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just like a I don't know, where would we be? I think we're back at Eternatus, probably in the cottage, and who knows where the kids are, and it's just us, I think.
Okay. All right, take it. Set the scene.
Yeah, I think it's like late evening. It's probably just like a quiet, we're both like cleaning up, whoever has dishes and the others, cleaning the eating area. And I think Habfor turns to Jelena and says, "I can't die." How many worlds did they do that to? They didn't figure it out.
That's fair. Go ahead.
To be clear, I can die, and I probably will, but I don't think it'll be by old age. I feel a greater responsibility. There's more than just us here. Maybe one day I'll feel like I've earned death. But I can't choose a happy ending when I don't know how many worlds that's happened to.
She puts down whatever she's holding. And she'll walk over so she's able to face him. I hope there's no more doubt of your worthiness. Because only someone who is worth whatever it is that you thought you weren't would do this. You're taking on the responsibility of the universe. We don't know what that looks like. And I would never ask you to stand down or anything like that. I couldn't. But you have to promise me that you will believe in yourself. Because I believe in you. And our kids believe in you. And I need to know that you see it too.
I don't know how long a life I have ahead of me as a space pirate. And I cannot promise that I won't backslide. But I know that even if I don't fully believe it, that I am good and that I am worthy, that people that I know that are the best humans believe that I am. And maybe the trick is to, for once, believe you guys over myself. Not just, you three, but everybody. And I'd never ask you. I've got a long life. I'll be here as long as you need me. But I think that at some point, either if this is where you're tied to, I respect that. And this is where you want to rest or be when I'm between every few hundred years when I come back. I get that too. But our whole thing for the last 1,200 years has been to show people that there's something better. To fight when it seemed impossible, to do, to be what you wanted to see in this world. And now it's more than this world. And life has an origin. And whether we're all tied back to the same matter from that Big Bang or divergent species that got dropped off piece by piece, we're all tied together. And I can't stand the thought of that happening in so many other places, you know?
I do know. And I'll be with you as long as I can. I have some adventuring in me yet.
Good, because I think Rowan wouldn't be able to see me go and not leave. And I don't think her brother would want to leave her mom. So let's go terrorize some bugs in space for a few hundred years.
It sounds like a pretty good plan. We're gonna have to get something that can travel with a lot of plants.
Oh, we're gonna get a crew and a fucking boat.
Okay. All I'm saying is that I think I'm gonna need to have a ship that can take a really big tree. I don't fly well. How am I gonna space
I think we could build that into the design. Well, there's no ocean to push back. We'll get into it more. And then Habfor explains how zero grav is a whole different struggle, but that when they're moving close to the speed of light, things should be fine. They'll have an interior hole with gravity, and he talks it's like those, there's like a new TikTok / IG, not new, I guess, but like a burgeoning style of content of wife getting dressed while their autistic husband explains something. And I think like that is kind of what's happening. Jelena's like, and afterwards helping whatever they're doing, the mushrooms or some sort of herb preparation. And it's just like, yeah. And that's why an interior and an exterior hole is extremely important. And having hard food and soft food is very important. And we're going to have to figure something out about long-term travel and having a shutdown. But I'm sure the bugs have some sort of technology because they travel from each of these places to these some we're going to have to go into like some sort of short-term comas. I wrote a book about it a long time ago. I'm sure Anoush can help us out. Whoa, shit, maybe not. Which I think leads us to our second.
Wonderful. Who would like to take the next turn?
I can do it.
All right. You may ask questions, state a fact, or request a scene.
So I think I'm going to state a fact.
Okay.
A fact very specific to Anoush. When he comes into this world, he hyper-focuses on the 3 Ps. Now, the 3 Ps are privacy, powers, and propulsion, jet. He spends all of his time trying to like keep the masters or anyone out or from spying. He spends his time trying to gather powers and learn about all of the powers and how to prevent them from being turned off. And he also wants to become a space pirate. He works on a jet engine.
Gotcha. Privacy, powers, and propulsion. Understood. Comet jet, right. Next.
I have a question.
All right.
The device that was put to empower people, that can be used more than once. And to clarify, a previously empowered person can use the device and then choose to use it to re-empower, correct? Or was that a misunderstanding?
I don't think there's a device for empowering anyone, but there are ways to learn how to change your powers in the library.
Okay, so then I misunderstood something from a different episode.
Oh, sorry about that.
I mean, in a different timeline that wasn't, we used the patches to boost, but that's not the same.
That's not what I'm asking, no.
Gotcha.
Okay, that'll be my question for now, and you can circle back to me.
Okay.
I think state of fact.
Okay.
Ida has always had a deep need to learn as much as they can from reading in 1066 to now having access to a galactic library. So they spend a lot of time at the library, and they find the resistance. There's always a resistance. So somewhere hidden in the library are the seeds of places that maybe they can point Habfor to.
Mm-hmm. So you find a resistance. Tell me more about the resistance.
Other worlds that made the right choice, quote unquote, but maybe they also saw what could happen if a wrong choice was made. So other places who are happy, who want to give true freedom to the galaxy.
Marvelous. All right, I'm going to take a turn. I would like to ask, how smooth is the transition for the world from what was before to post-library? How smooth or how rocky is that? What do we think?
I think it's devastatingly smooth.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that like post-World War II Europe, right? The moment the arches are down, the moment the flags are down, the moment things are burned, and the bad people they're in the trial or whatever, right? Like then everybody was like, yeah, I can't believe that happened. That was crazy.
Mm.
Like when they were in the streets. You know, I think that there's this thing in, you see it. I mean, it happens in wild animals too, right? Like a herd will just kind of, the moment they move on, graze, a few 100 feet away from the weakest member of their herd being mauled to death by a large beast of prey, right? Like I think there's a bit of self-preservation and selfishness and whatever that goes along with, well, the threat's over, we're fine. And so I think it's, in the same way that like unfortunately in the world we live in, right? Like how many people whose lives are fine right now despite all that's going on don't care, right? And if that answer is everybody now, there's gonna be like what Eli's talking about. There's always conscientious, justice-driven people in every group. Unfortunately, those willing to do anything beyond, yeah, it's terrible, and sip their wine often happens to be a very small amount of people.
Would anyone else like to add to that?
I think prior to, in this timeline, the previous, the 5 years leading up to when the library was deposited, and we got this reality where things turned out well for us.
Correct.
There was a lot of work put in place to help prepare people.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it is a far smoother adjustment than it could have been. I do think that there are still groups of individuals that maybe rebel against a new world order in a sense. Kind of, not to say that this is an act of rebellion, this is an act of culture and faith, but how the Amish hold on to values from the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that there are groups like this throughout. And I don't know that maybe they're necessarily antagonistic, but they probably do separate themselves. Overall, I think it is similarly a rather jarringly smooth transition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's more of a growth of, yeah, like the Amish communities, like those communities who are like, we're going to make this place, like they're going to segregate themselves a lot more. So it's really smooth on a political level, because like all of the high ups are like, it just, the writing's on the wall that it makes more sense to go along with it instead of fight. Like a cynical part of me is like, yeah, it's like there's no point in fighting it, because it's like, we'll just use this to our advantage. Like, it's like, we're going to smile and be kind to each other, because that's not political suicide. but there's a much wider rift now of like us and them, as far as, but the us and them is not us and them, it's now those who defy these gifts, whatever, for whatever reason, whatever ideological reason there is, and those who decide to accept and go and move into the future.
Cool.
Conservatives have a valid point for the first time in human history.
Oh no, we can't have that be real.
I wouldn't make
That's
sense.
what we're saying. That's the ideology of conservatism, right?
I
Things should
retcon.
stay
I
the
retcon.
same.
I changed my mind. Everything's great. We all love it.
All right. Okay, we have a new round of turns. Who would like to be first? I can choose.
You could. For a period of a time, Jelena spends a lot of time around an EMP. She is choosing to age. She is not choosing death. And I think she notices a gray hair for the first time when she's out and she's with Ida and the kids they're doing God knows what. And she goes to Ida and she's so excited to show off some silver through her hair.
Next.
None of us
I have
want
a
to play because we're
question.
sad. We don't
I have
want
a
to do.
question.
Yeah.
You have a question? Yeah.
What is the response to Dark Timeline Anoush?
Yeah.
How has Dark Timeline Anoush tried to hide themselves or made themselves apparent?
I think that's a good question. Is there an opportunity for that to happen, or do you just know? Because Halfthor would
Well,
know.
oh yeah, I 100% told everybody. I said, hey, we need to keep an eye on Anoush. I hope it's fine, but if he acts weird, this is the scenario. We're sort of in uncharted science territory, so who knows? And that's kind of what Halfthor would have said. I think Halfthor kind of, I don't think you, like, from, I guess, as the one who knows the most, right? Or the point, I can start how Halfthor's response would be, which would be, I think he's just kind of done with Anoush for the most part, in the way that, like, you erased the consciousness of another sentient human being for selfish reasons. That, at the end of the day, like, that's what you chose. And that's fucked up beyond belief. I just don't, like, there's not anything left here.
Yeah. Ida, I think Ida would have asked for an explanation without caring about, like, they wouldn't have been like to change his mind, because there's nothing to change. They just want to, they're like, what could your reasoning possibly be for this? And when they got it, when they were told, whatever you tell them, they'll just kind of go, okay. And then I think they're going to focus. I mean, Ida's going to focus on being a support to Pagan, because they're very worried about their friend. They're worried that you're going to hurt him, because your need for whatever this was, your need to have this darkness, was more important than your partner. So they'll still be around. They'll still talk to you, and they'll still be there, but they're a lot of their, they're going to be very obviously supportive of Pagan.
Yeah, to be clear, like, I don't think Halfdoor's, like, openly antagonistic either, right? It's just like, you know, if Anoush is around and asks, like, a technical question, if people invite them to be somewhere, they're, you know, professional and cordial, but it's just like, I just don't have, you don't respect sentient beings, so, like, I don't have that respect for you. I don't see you as a human anymore. I see you as someone who views themselves above humanity. And that should be viewed as wary.
I think you make Jelena very sad. Does this Anoush see themselves as separate from the previous? Do you see yourselves as two separate beings?
I think yes, because I think enough time had gone by, like a lifetime had gone by, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I remember everything he did. I think there's a lack of wanting to explain too.
And I think that's probably where her sadness comes in. Because good or bad, Anoush has always been someone that was there in ways as a mentor for her when it comes to medical sciences and so on and so forth. And I think she's just sad because it may not have been a perfect life, but she sees it as choosing to be sad, choosing the worst life and prioritizing that one over the one that this Jelena had been a part of building. So there's this weird disconnect of mourning someone in her family, but they're still there.
Okay. Next turn.
I have a very big question for the table. What is the long after we eventually head out and become space pirates? What is the legacy of the empowered, as we've been called in the histories of humanity? What is the legacy of them on Earth? What is the legacy of Gilgamesh and all who came after him, who ushered in this new world order, as you've called it?
That is a big one.
I think there is something about us that values shiny and new. I think whatever gives the abilities, whatever allows us to like be like this is like adopted as, ooh, the next iPhone, or now we're doing streaming services, or like weight loss drugs and shit like that. Like the next fad of life-changing events. The library is like, ooh, we get all of this knowledge now, and then in a couple months we're like, we want more. This isn't enough. Like, we need the next shiny and new thing. I don't know if it is overwhelmingly positive, but I also don't think the legacy is overwhelmingly negative either. I think it is like somewhere in the middle.
David, you're mute.
I think I kind of disagree, only because like a lot of trend stuff is built off of capitalist design, and if there's like a UBI based on everybody's abilities, essentially, right? The idea of like capitalistic trends would just follow humanistic trends, right? Like there's always human trends, but the idea of what you're talking about is a fairly specific phenomenon to creating a false scarcity for that thing to be the new thing, right? And there is no false scarcity because you could just go to a library and change your powers, right? Like, so there, I I can see what you're saying. I think that like I agree with your end point. I disagree with how you got there. I think whatever the like the underside is, however much of the resistance there is, right? That is like that for like that we mentioned earlier of those that like, even though, you know, Earth is what it is, or a seeming utopia, right? And then I think amongst those who maybe took the powers and still view it as a net bad for Earth and whatever, and then those who've like also stood away, I think it is particularly bad. But I think, again, for the most part, if what settles in is like essentially a utopia, that all that we can see in our Earth, right? We don't see the suffering, and most humans don't know the like alternate history. I mean, I think it's like most Americans up until fucking 15 years ago, right? Like, despite the ugly histories, despite the rest of the world, it's, you know, patriotism was at a fucking all-time high in 2006. And so I think it's like that kind of thing. Like, if I'm fat and happy, then the people who brought me and made me fat and happy are good. So I think that where it is negative, it is extremely negative. But I think it is overwhelmingly positive.
Well, and I think for the empowered people, like Courtney had alluded to, one of the things that we planned were these like tutorials on, hey guys, like we have lived a millennia and we're going to, or more than a millennia for Gilgamesh, you know, we've lived for thousands of years. So what lessons can we give? So I think the empowered, maybe the legacy of the empowered people is a legacy of learning and of accepting other cultures and that kind of thing. So for our legacy, I think I agree that it probably skews a little bit more positive because of that 5 years of us working to make the transition smooth. Like, we set that up before the library even got there, of being like, hey guys, this is what you can expect. Like, let's be chill. let's do this.
Yeah.
And then of course there's like the negativity is there. That's always gonna, there's always gonna be negativity.
Always gonna be there.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that like is, once people find out Gilgamesh killed the KKK and right, Habfor was silently murdering Spanish Inquisition priests, and like the like real good that the empowered people were doing, like even behind, I think when you get to, it's one of those things of like, in the whole it's positive. I think when you get to the minutia of like person by person, that's where things get a little trickier, right? I think unfortunately our friend Robert probably does not have a great reputation.
No. Yeah,
right?
because there's hugely, we have a giant statue that of Fillmore that we throw rocks at once a year on the anniversary of his murder.
Burning Man.
Yeah, it's literal Burning Man. We have an effigy. We say fuck that guy.
I think especially as we get further away through history, I think something that we kind of all hate a little bit is that we're deified in a way that we didn't ever really want. The stories now, they all have, you know, historical fact and backs up, and you can go read the journals of these real people, but when things are left to be interpreted by anyone who wasn't there, things can be skewed to fit a bias that suits your need. So especially as we're traveling, those of us who are traveling, I hope everybody at this table decides to travel. But the longer we're away, the more the truth of our lives and our history can be
manipulated
and changed.
I guess that depends though, right? Because, well, who stays? And then is there heralds? Is there people that are holding on to the truth, right? Of like, and that, sure, the broader terms, but like, is there an ancient cat that turns into an old witch somewhere in some fucking village that's like, let me tell you the real story of Jelena and Habfor. Let me tell you the real story of Ida I almost said halfling. Why did I almost say halfling? Ida the shape changer, right? And like, I think that there's like, I think what's really cool to think about, and I think about things like this too, right, is like how many of these became, right, like by Jove's beard, you know, how much of us slipped into the common lexicon as, you know, a curmudgeon, a sourpuss, or, you know, someone very, you gotta your thumb is as green as Jelena's, right? Like, speaking of being able to grow things or shit like that. I think that is one of the things that Habfor, as a like lover of culture throughout, whenever they're uh tree, what's the name of that tree from Norse mythology?
Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil. Yeah, when their ship Yggdrasil stops by Earth, I think that he that's the thing that gives him the most joy about their legacy. It's just being a part of humanity.
That's a lot to write down. I'm going to just write complicated legacy.
Written into mythology.
Mythologized.
Mythological.
Look at me. I'm the Olympian now.
All right, I've lost track of who's left.
I haven't gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to request a scene on behalf of Dionysus.
Okay.
With his wife.
Sad.
It's going to be sad. Sorry, guys. So,
yeah.
What do you think Mirwine's favorite part of the ocean is? Since she is all of it.
Yes. Her favorite part? Oh, that's a tough one. Possibly, yeah, maybe the trench. Maybe the Marinards Trench, where it's so deep and full of things that are only hers.
I love that. So, well, this is probably maybe definitely in maybe even 1,000 years later. Like, they've lasted even longer than Dio would have ever thought. So he is in his very fancy boat that travels around the world with Mirwine. And it's anchored as much as it can be anchored, and it can't really be anchored in water this deep, but it is standing as still as it can be. And he's sitting on the back where there is a platform, and where he has always liked to sit with his legs in the water, glass of wine for each of them. that kind of, this is like their normal routine of being together. And she in her watery form kind of next. I can almost see her like perched, like on top of the water, is like this water nymph kind of look. And he just kind of sighs. Well, my love, I think it's time we talk about Transitions.
You mean endings?
Yeah, I do.
We've put this off a long time. We could put it off longer.
Everybody's leaving. But leaving means I leave you. And I would rather die. I will not go into those stars without you.
She looks like she's trying to say things and not finding the words. So what does that mean?
Nothing immediate for me. It's different for you, but I can just go to the library and turn it off, right? That's what they say. And I can sail around and turn into that old man in the sea. I promise I won't be as weird as Nereus. And I will live with you, and I will grow old with you. And one day, I will be buried in you. If that's okay.
And I will be only Mirwan.
You will be everything.
Can
Yeah.
we say that? Can we cut this and say that Habfor has given like a permanent EMP bomb or something? Or Mirwan would just need an EMP, right? Because the moment they couldn't hold themselves together, they'd be fucking done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to have a fucking Notebook ass ending, and curl up on the beach and fucking, I think that technology is doable.
Right.
Would you could stay and you can be every creature within you, beloved by worlds and cherished, or Habfor made there is a way. If you're tired, which you can be, but it's up to you, my love.
It's such a romantic thought. Growing old and fading together. But I'm too much for that. I haven't felt human for so long. I'm so many things now, and I don't know how to give them up.
You don't have to.
But I don't want to give you up either.
Well,
I know that's selfish.
You're allowed to be selfish. I'm being selfish, asking you to let me go.
Yes, you are.
I'm a selfish creature, love. You knew that.
But you've never been selfish with me. You've always given of yourself. You've always connected. And now,
I think that she says that, and he just pours that feeling, as much of the love that he has, out into the ocean.
I will remember you when mankind is gone.
This body might go away, but this love, it is unending.
All right. You don't need my permission, obviously, but all right.
I
We
kind
will
of
do it your way.
Unspoken rules of maritime marriage, I guess. I don't know. And I think with the wonders of modern science, they still get another like 70 years or something. Like,
Sure.
it is quite a while, because he takes care of himself, and it's like he can't. He's like, I'm just gonna die naturally, and it just turns out that it goes on forever. But there is a day when Dionysus is no more and goes to be with his first wife in the stars, while his body rests with Mirwine.
See you in the stars.
See in the stars.
There's a day when Dio is no more.
Can I say something that will also not be in the episode, but I couldn't stop thinking about?
Go.
Yeah.
During that scene, I couldn't stop thinking about the hundreds of thousands of people that were probably peeing in the ocean.
Yeah. All the time.
All right.
I was like, when she was like, I'm everyone and I'm everywhere, I was like, oh my God, she's the beach.
Bad. Yeah.
I was like, I gotta hold it together for the scene. That's not my scene.
Human, fish, just so much shit in the ocean.
There's a lot. It's true.
God, Mirwine, she's so full of shit.
Oh, wow.
I think that's you now, Sarah.
Yeah.
Your turn.
So, how long is it before humanity begins to push out from its home?
Immediately?
I actually think it's a few hundred years. Partially because of technology reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like we are so, even as much as like we've talked about advancing, right, one of the areas that we haven't talked about a bunch would be life systems, like, and because there's no rush, that's the other part, right? Like there's no so I think it's, I guess it's kind of both, right? I think that like within 30 or 40 years there's like expeditions to Mars and beyond, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think in terms of like large diaspora,
Yeah.
I think large diaspora, you're still talking a few thousand years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that though, from like the first push, if you will, the like go settle the new world people,
300.
yeah, I think like 200-300, and
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the timeline. I think that's probably the timeline that Habfor sets out with, and I think that Yggdrasil is the size of a small community. Most humans can handle about 150 people, and so I think that the crew is around that size.
Yeah. I think the technology push starts immediately though. Like that's
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
that's the thing that I was like immediately
Mhm.
everyone's like jump on it. Let's figure it out.
Oh
So,
yeah. And I'm sure some people, especially with using the library, right? Things about figuring out, because every planet has its own composition. So even though they have all these probably, SOPs or whatever to follow to get X material that's like light enough and fuel that's good enough, you still have to like make the gap from end game to versus what we have and close that, right? And so there's like some technological advancement there
Mhm.
that would take time. But yeah, I think that you probably like a few hundred years, because I think people would all, because the big thing that people always need to see is, did people make it back?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And so that just takes time, a few decades. Because even at light years, right? Like the first, out of system travel, it's taken 30, 40 years round trip.
Mhm.
Mm.
I love these episodes where we get to talk science.
All right, that brings us to the top of the turnaround. We are halfway through our time allotted. Who would like to go next?
I would like to state a fact for us to vote on.
Okay.
Gilgamesh is surrounded by the people he loves as he lay dying.
I'm good with that.
And it's just before our inaugural launch for Yggdrasil.
Okay.
I think his idea of wanting to say goodbye, I think as the first empowered here, he's very tied to the earth. And the humanity that he knew and the world that he knew is so far gone. That he feels like his job's finally done right if his kids are going to save the other ones.
Mhm.
And I think Hafthor's last words to him in his ear are, "I'm gonna outlast you, you son of a bitch."
And Jelena punches him.
I beat you that one time. I hold on to that.
Delightful. Thank you. I was wondering about the end to Gilgamesh's story, and I think that is an appropriate one. Who would like to go next?
I would like to request a scene with primarily Anoush, but I would invite anybody who would like to jump into it.
Hafthor will be there. I don't think he leaves any of the people he cares about alone with Anoush.
What is your scene?
Yes. So this will come. Anoush has been focusing on his 3 Ps. And I think at some point, Jelena has discussions with Hafthor and Ida, and she wants to get something for the twins. So she goes to Anoush to build them twin ships. They are fighter ships that they can take out for solo travel, exploration on their own. So if you wouldn't mind, Anoush, I would like you to help build these.
Anything else?
If anything else, I don't know. How are you?
I think you know that I'm pretty bad. How are you?
Today I'm okay. It's not always good for everybody here, Anoush. It's a little bit easier when we try to be together, though. But I think the emphasis is on try.
Yeah? Having the people you love around you is a good thing. It's hard with no one.
You've always chosen the hard route.
So is everyone else. I mean, look at you. Both of you. You've aged. Doesn't seem easy.
No, but I think we earned it.
You don't
Plus,
think
I'm
I've
not
earned to
getting too
live?
old. I stopped.
No, you look great.
Thank you.
Look, I'm not one to make excuses, but we all make our choices.
I think, Anoush, what'll always be hard for me is that you took this Anoush's choice away.
Yeah? You don't think that's
Yeah.
hard for me?
I don't care.
I know. That's why we don't talk about it.
Yeah. So, if you want to do this, I'd appreciate that. And if you don't, I get it.
I'll do it.
Thank
It's
you.
not a problem.
I have some preliminary blueprints that I think you could work off of. Obviously, if there's any adjustments or changes you think that the twins would like, I'd love to discuss them.
That's great. I don't know them very well, but I'd love to get together and learn a bit more.
Good.
Sent you a psychological profile of them and their history.
Okay, that should probably be enough.
Or you can actually come to dinner and sit down with them and get to know them. And I think she's looking a little bit sternly between these two men that she cares for.
Is that what you want?
I want you to try. The results of it, I can't force.
If people want me around, I'll be around. That sounds lovely. Dinner sounds nice. I'd love to get to know the twins. I'm
Thank
not
you.
pushing back here. And if it's any consolation, I'm sorry.
Ida has been here. Ida, but watching, because their voice is like, they're just like between this is very tense and they don't need to add to it, but they can't stop themselves. Anoush, what do you want?
To live?
Okay. In misery?
Okay.
You want to live in misery, though.
At all.
You are.
I
Congratulations, you've
am.
done it.
Thank you. I have.
So why are you so fucking miserable?
Because I killed someone.
Okay, it's done. We've all killed people.
Nobody, I don't, this sounds very narcissistic, but he was a very special
Oh.
person.
My darling brother. This is the far from the first time, nor will it be the last time you have said something narcissistic.
Okay. You're not wrong.
As you've said, you made a decision. The decision is made. Nothing can change it. So move on. Live. Don't insult my brother by making it absolutely pointless what he sacrificed and what you did. Be happy. You've got love. You've got a partner who, for some fucking reason, stuck around.
Look, hey. Yes. There's also the overwhelming lust for revenge thing, right? Like, the pagan's great, lovely. He is mostly the pagan I know, but the people who killed mine are still out there.
Sure.
And I don't think I can be happy unless I've eliminated every single one of them.
Great. So that's
So
not so. What you said about what you want is living, that's not actually true. What you want is to kill yourself. Noted?
Oh, baby, that's fucking living. I'm not going to kill myself. Living is bathing in their fucking slimy ass innards. That's living. I apologize.
Right now, you're wallowing.
Right now, I'm working.
Yeah, which is for you is wallowing.
Okay, well, they're not mutually exclusive. You're right.
They are the same, one and the same. So,
do you want me to go over my plan? Do you want to be a part of it? Is that should I try?
Yes.
Okay.
You've made a decision, and then once again, you've made a decision and then isolated yourself like a fucking martyr.
I don't know. Into my office then. Let's go.
Tunnel.
Here, I'll go over the plot.
Ida would 100% sit because they also they want to be part of the rebellion. They're like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Gosh, you
I have
people
a
are
vague
weird,
memory of having teeth and like wanting to rip the throats out of people. So I get it. Let's go.
I just, I don't understand. Y'all are too nice.
Yeah, well, is what it is.
The image of a wine press goes into Anoush's head and it says, "Not all of us."
That is from before times, so we are the same person.
He has a memory of that.
I make a farting noise and I walk into the office. Yeah, I pull down the screen.
If I could get like a timeline on those, that'd be great. If
they're
before
already
the birthday,
built.
Ideal.
I'm in the process of building fighter jets, fighter spaceships. I think it's important to have a whole fleet of things to fight against. Before we can go into development, we need to talk about privacy. Building two things as a gift is one thing. Building war machines to kill bugs is another thing. Also,
Fair.
if EMPs are our weakness, we need to find another power source for these nanobots. And speaking of powers, I've been trying to find a way to get extra. Because Their tools, their weapons. Small, powerful, invasive. We intercept their bases, their spaceships, whatever. I think there's definitely a push for reconnaissance, but in 1,000 to 2,000 years, I don't know. Genocide sounds like a bad word, but that's the plan.
Okay.
In Jelena's mind, this is who you invited to dinner.
Outwardly, Anoush looks at Jelena and says, "This is who you invited to dinner."
Yeah, it's fine. That's what the good wine's for. Okay.
And Habfor goes back to his office and keeps working on the secret compartment of the ship that's built like a wine press. I'm just kidding. It's not a wine press this time. It's an eject button on Anoush's quarters.
Just
We put, yeah.
Oops.
Perfect. I love it.
Oops.
We called it an
No.
escape
There's none of
pod,
that. There's none of that.
but-
There's none of that.
So the ships are going to be called the Fuck Around and the Find Out.
I love it.
Their call signs are Luke and Leia.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of them more as the
Interesting.
twins from Magic the Gathering. It's like Rowan and one of them's actual name is Rowan and fuck, I can't remember. They're from the they're from the fairy tale set. I'm trying to find out art for them and share it in our back chat.
I don't know any MTG lore.
yeah. All right. Next up. I should be better about
I think it's
remembering.
Ida and Anoush haven't gone yet. Because I did Gilgamesh
Yeah.
and then Jelena did Fuck Around and Find Out.
Right.
Cam, do you want to do or do you want me to go?
You can go.
Okay. So, like, part of me wants to see. I don't know if this is a good question to ask. Okay, so of the empowered people,
Mm-hmm.
how many people who decided to cut it off and become a myth? Besides Dionysus and then Gilgamesh, who died. However, Gilgamesh died. How many of
Vote
the
on this
old
one?
ones? Yeah.
Yeah, can we vote on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's the question. I'm asking it to the table.
I would
Yeah, like,
love for Bast to be a witch forever until she comes on our ship.
I don't think Bast is going anywhere for sure. I have the list.
I
up.
think there's a big ass cat tree in Yggdrasil.
I think Loki would.
Do you think
I
Loki?
think
would
Loki
stop?
gives it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think pretty much all the people that said no.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Leofstan? Do you think Leofstan calls it?
Yeah, I think if you think humanity's not worth it and that's been so burned into you, like for what reason? Other than if we could think of one of them that wants to, like, for some reason would want to then leave Earth to try to go somewhere else. But I don't know that any of them were like star based. You know what I mean? Like
I think Hermes would. I think Hermes would go. to
Hermes
start.
might be the only one, but I don't know. The only reason I would think Hermes though, because not Hermes, is because Hermes was so family oriented and all his family chose to give it up or die or stay on Earth.
Mhm.
That's the only reason I think with Hermes. But
Yeah.
if you think, I mean, you would know better as more in his story. So
Yeah.
Would he join the rebellion?
Dio would give his full blood. Would be like he would tell his big brother to like go and fuck around. Like,
Yeah.
so like, yeah, Dio, that's his big brother though. He can't tell his big brother to die. So, that's interesting. What about Josh? What's Josh doing?
I think Josh stays on Earth forever and just tries to help people. As long as there's people in need, I think Josh is there. And I think, so then I guess maybe he does come with us. I don't know that Josh, I think that's something that Josh and Habfor would have in common of like, there's people hurting. I don't know that I can just like chill here in this fake utopia. But that's my opinion.
I don't know, but I could see Josh and Hurrit like staying around on Earth.
Hurrit 100%
like,
stays on Earth, in my opinion, from my background of the character. I think Hurrit is connected to the Earth much in the same way, and humanity more specifically in a similar way to Merwine.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Hurrit dies, it's by like falling off a hill or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's a statement.
Or he chooses to live a life with Hild, because I don't think Hild is keeping her ability.
But Hild can change it now. You have to remember that too. So Hild could easily change it to something that is more, that makes her feel less whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think the thing, like, in the same way that I view like a Mother Maiden Crone, there's like a mask version of that in Gilgamesh, Habfor and Hurrit, and I think their through line is that thing of like old, like not self-sacrifice for the purpose of self-sacrifice, but the idea that like they're like, without a cause bigger than myself, my life has no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I must dedicate myself to a life bigger than myself. And I think Hild could convince him if they said goodbye. And I think I would leave it up to Sarah then in that way. But I think I just find it really hard to believe, especially with like some of the guilt he has over decisions he's made in the past, that Hurrit wouldn't want to be like, there's got to be more ships out there. The space pirate fleet always needs more. So like, we need recruiters.
Yeah.
Every operation needs its different pieces, right? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Hurrit stays on Earth, like you said. I think he continues to live at least for a long time, and Hild does indeed modify her powers and continue to stay with him now that they're able to do so in a healthy way. Josh, I think Josh leaves the planet on his own.
Space Jesus.
To go out and
Jesus
help the afflicted in personal ways, as he is wont to do.
I'm looking at everybody who voted. So the people who, from the time that never happened and it was fine, except for Anoush. Horace voted no, so I can imagine Horace probably called it.
Yes.
Hippolyta? I don't know. I could see Hippolyta wanting to like
be a space gladiator, babe. Come on.
Be a space Amazonian. Yeah, like starstruck.
Yes.
Let's go, baby. Take this straight to space.
Yeah.
It's 150 bunks on board.
I could see Leofstan staying, especially just staying on Earth, or I don't know that he'd give up his powers though, because that would mean he would lose his connection with animals, and that's where he felt most at home. Mirrorwine, we've already talked about. Eamon?
Ooh, I think Leifson would be a cool one to give him up one day when, like, the animal, like, so far in the future, like millions of years, when the biology is just so completely different. He's like, I don't even know this Earth anymore.
Yeah.
But he could also be like, I love this new Earth. I don't know. I think that's an interesting thing to think about. He definitely stays on Earth, though, is the point.
What, Cam?
I said he could do some EMP himself, do some EMP therapy. EMT.
Yeah.
Whatever.
EMPT.
EMPPTP.
Edmund sticks around and names his ship after Otto.
Oh.
Reminder of the old ship. Hurrit's gonna stick around. And then we have our poor people, our poor French Ticonderogans. They're wherever. They're
Who
off
knows
the
what happens to them? Nobody ever cared about them.
Love them very much. The crew.
They are literally the middle children of Halley's children.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, when you're a French soldier, sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Etienne, Matthew, and Theo. Oh, Theo might go into space just to be... Theo was the solar energy one.
Yeah.
That's my crew, Hippolyta and Theo.
Just fully hating everybody. Let's go. Yeah. Cool.
Exactly.
That was my question. Cameron.
Okay. How long until the first of the masters, quote unquote, is killed by one of us?
Well, if we could do 2 at 1, my fact was going to be that I think Habfor dies a couple thousand years in the future, like in battle. I don't think he ever finds peace. I don't think he ever settles down. So, I think if this could answer your question and we could vote on it, Habfor dies trying to take out a hive of masters.
But is that the first time?
Maybe it took this long to find him. That's kind of Sarah's answer.
That's so sad.
Whether it's the first time or a big win or even a small one, trying to refuel, I just don't think... I was trying to think of like a good way Habfor dies, and I don't think there's a good way. I think he's someone who didn't, despite what he told his wife about worthiness, still doesn't think he deserves peace. And that in a world and a universe now this unfair, didn't think anybody deserved peace. And I think he fought to the end. And if you fight enough, you'll lose.
But as to the question of how long before first blood, I think it may take a while.
Mm-hmm.
There's just getting out into the battlefield is a big jump, because
we talked about at least 500 years.
Yeah,
they don't come. It's not like the bad timeline. So like this Anoush would have a different reality. Like the bad timeline, they were walking amongst us like spectators in a zoo, whereas that's not how it is in this time around.
Yeah, because the other thing that we'd have to develop, in addition to like just the technology to get off of Earth, out of orbit, out of the solar system, etc., right, would be then now the technology to identify and track somehow these things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you're talking about wide open space of where.
Mm-hmm.
So like not just do you have the right net to catch what you're talking about, but do you even know what fucking direction you're going?
Yeah.
And that
Well, the
literally
library
just takes
probably
time
has
for
that.
information to get
Yeah.
back and forth. The library will tell us where the libraries are and where all the good stuff is, but was it necessarily going to give us all the locations that said no, that are subservient, whatever?
Those are
versions?
different. But like wherever.
Well,
the
that's what I'm saying.
masters
That's what
are.
we're going out to do, right?
Sure.
I think you're looking at like at least 1,500 years.
Oh, easily. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Type shit.
Type shit.
Thousands of years.
I'm so bad at writing.
Oh, no.
My handwriting is just not good. But that's okay.
I think that brings us to you, Sarah.
Yes. I should have had more prepared. I would like to know when y'all leave the Earth, what is hard to leave behind? What remains in your heart as you go out into the void?
I think it surprises Jelena how easy it was, actually. She's going to miss the people that are staying. But her heart, her life, they're all going. And I think she's looking forward to leaving just leaving that history behind her in a way that she doesn't understand.
I think for Anoush.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Go, Cam.
think for Anoush, nothing until he can look out and see Earth behind him. And then I think it hits him that was the one thing connecting him to the timeline that doesn't exist anymore. Like, that was the one thing that stayed the same when everything else was everyone else was completely erased. So I think seeing the physical place that he was, the physical place that was erased completely, leaves an empty void in him.
I think Ida has the opposite reaction than Jelena, which surprises them. They have always thought that they would be ready to go and just go and go and go. And, you know, they have their family connections, they have that, but they've always made it a point to be fairly nomadic in how they are. And as the preparations are happening, we're getting closer and closer to leaving, to launch day. Ida finds themselves in what used to be a village in England. And they walk along a dock that has been rebuilt, and it's a weird, like, living museum kind of place. It's like this is how it used to be, like one of those strange historical villages that it's like, this is the old timey way, and people have to like talk in the way, you know, it's like, this is how they talked in the olden times, and it's all wrong because Ida's like, I lived it, I remember this, none of it was like this. But Hastings has become a historical site of so many of the empowered people. So Ida takes a glass bottle and fills it with sand and sea, and looks around. And she says goodbye to her twin brother. And they say goodbye to the young fisherman's daughter that, by all accounts, should have died millennia ago. And they will carry this with them for the rest of their days, this little piece of home, as they go and explore the stars and right wrongs. Yeah, that's what they'll miss.
I think just only 30 miles up the coast in Bebenberg. Habfor calls out to Mirwine, never expecting her to show up, but knows it's courteous to say hi. And it's that, you know, still owned by some shell company offshoot of what is now Ragnarok Industries. She's been able to preserve this this pier in the way that he holds it in his mind all these years. And you know, there's enough data from telescopes and whatnot to know that there's oceans on these other planets. There's water, there has to be. However, none of those oceans are his ocean. And much like Jelena, he's said goodbye to so many of those he loves in this water. And this is where he learned what it meant to be a man, and where he learned what love was. And it was these oceans he taught his children to sail. And it was these he spilt his blood into first. And I think that there's I don't even know that it's like bittersweet. I think it's just a deep melancholy and a huge feeling of loss. I don't think he takes a stopper or anything or a flask. Because I think he thinks I won't be the one to separate any more of this. And that all the most important memories he has. And I think he just locks in that last feeling on this pier.
This is our final round. One more ask or state or request for everyone. And then we're done.
Couple thousand years, bloodied after a rogue mission. Ida buries a small wooden figurine on their ship. They have watched their brother whittle these before every important event of their long lives. And this is the first time it's actually had to have happened. So they will bury this memory of Habfor on the ship, in the room with the giant tree that was grown for Jelena under its boughs. And say goodbye to their brother.
Who's next?
Currently writing some last words, so I just need like a couple minutes.
No problem.
Go, Anoush. You can't make Jelena talk.
No, I'm between two things. If it's the last round, I don't know what to do. And one of them might be answered if somebody else goes. Oh, fuck it. Okay. I won't answer. I won't ask a question. I'll just state a fact. Okay. So when I think of Anoush, I think of consequence. I think of cause and effect. I think of a man who's afraid of one thing and how now his actions eventually will lead to him having to face his biggest fear. So I want to fast forward to that point.
Okay.
I don't think Anoush is remembered in mythos. I don't think Anoush is one to stay in a place for a long time. I think, yes, he'll travel the stars. Yes, he'll fight his war. But no matter what the fuck, there's 20 million lives that this man lives. And at the end of all of it, standing on some rock somewhere with no one around him, he looks off into the universe, into whatever it becomes when it is about to end, whenever that last candle is snuffed out. He stares at it. And I think even facing his biggest fear, having to live and watch everything around him turn to dust, I don't think he's scared. I think he's happy. I think 12 billion lives teaches somebody that even if we are walking and talking and moving around, we are still dust. And we can look at the dust around us and see everybody we've ever loved in there. We can also see ourselves. So in a weird way, he never will be and he never was alone. Even if he is the only thing still breathing at the edge of the universe.
The thing is already, it disappeared, but I'm going to write on it anyway, and we'll just do something with it. Next.
I might want to break your rules a little bit.
Do it.
I'd like to make a statement of fact now,
Mhm.
and then I think I have something for the end.
All right.
A statement of fact is that Jelena lived a life she is happy with. With family, with love, through war. Saw things that she could have never imagined. Met people from across the universe. By all metrics, a very rich and fulfilled life.
And what would you like to say at the end?
I think it's going to have to go after David.
Understood.
How's Pagan been doing?
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about Pagan. He is such an aspirational figure. And so it's hard to say where he ends up, because I feel not unworthy exactly, but just maybe not up to telling that story, because I think pagan story lasts a while and is full of good. I think wherever pagan goes, the world, the galaxy is made a better place by him. And that's something that not everyone gets to say.
We do love our pagan.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
All right.
Shit, where did that go? There it is. Hail to the fallen. I have fought hard, but death has finally caught me. She's earned her prize, and I will take her arm with a smile on my face as I head into the void. Because I have undoubtedly left a better universe than I have found. The folly of man has always been short-sightedness, an inability to work hard for a prize you'd never hold, a future you'd never enjoy. We've been given an ability to see so much farther and live longer, and yet still so many have refused to understand that our children only stand as high as we raise them up. Maybe I was just an especially lucky man because I could not imagine any part of my life not in service to the future of humanity after seeing the screaming faces of my beautiful children held against their crying mother's chest. To Rowan and Lennox, you are everything and more that I could have hoped for. Beautiful and brilliant. But more than that, curious and kind and relentless. I have no more words of honor and praise for you in death because I made sure you knew those truths in life. So instead, I leave you with a charge. I have undoubtedly died a foolish death well before your mother. Do not let her last years be in misery, missing an old man. And since there are two of you, you can share the burden of a second command. Kill the masters. To Jelena, I had never known love could exist in the way it did between us before I met you. And the world will never know another love like it. It warms my heart knowing that forever our love will be an inspiration for all those across all time. A bond of love forged through the worst parts of humanity that never lost its luster, whose strength never wavered despite its tribulations. I thank you for that love, and whoever believes I did any good in this world, you should thank her for that love, because it is what kept me going, what made me believe I was a good man, what in the end made me believe I was worthy. Hail to the fallen. Hail to those that carry on the flame.
There would have been a funeral service for Habfor. And these were words that she had prepared for centuries. So perhaps you'll be able to forgive me if it feels like I am repeating words so eloquently said just moments before. But as she's leading the service, she stands under the tree And she goes, "Hail to our ancestors. We praise and honor you as we praise and honor the dead. Hail to the warrior who gave his life with valor and sacrifice for his kinsmen and those he has met along the way. Hail to the father who offered of his time and skill to shelter the farmer, to offer his time and skill to shelter and sustain the people who he has met. Hail to the friend who gave of his strength to lessen the burden carried by others. Hail to the Father who gave his wisdom to those who follow in his path, paving a way for a better future. Hail to the brother who gave his spirit to those he called family, for better or worse, to push them towards greatness. Hail to the husband who gave his heart and soul in devotion to a love I can only hope was felt and returned as fiercely as it was received. Hail to the man who gave all of himself to do the things that needed to be done, to do whatever he could for the greater good, despite the heavy costs levied against him and what he desired for his life. Hail to the living who bear the pain of his loss. We are better for having known him. To our kinsmen and friends, may you live long in memory of those granted the honor of having known you. May you sit amongst your kinsmen in Valhalla and beyond. Hail to Habfor. I hope you have found your rest. You carry my heart and the best of me with you into the afterlife, and I will love you eternally.
This is how the story ends. Not with an epic final battle, not with a happily ever after, but with the establishment of, the assurance of a future. Halley's has been, for me, a place where I could put my hope. A hope for humanity's future when all seemed dark in the world. A hope for goodness despite the rise of fascism. A hope that despite everything we can be worthy. And with that, we bring an end to Heaven's Eye and to Halley's Children. We'll be back next week to talk about the show, the whole series really, but this is the end of the story. If it brought you joy or comfort or tears, you're part of the Halley's family now, and we'd love to hear from you. We'll talk more about this next week, I'm sure, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say how much this story has meant to me over the past few years. I'd like to offer a special thanks to my players for jumping into this with me, for always being willing to yes and, for making their characters come alive in ways I never anticipated. I'd also like to offer thanks to every one of you who has watched or listened to the story with us, because we couldn't do it without you, and getting to share this story with you has been, for me, an absolute honor and joy. We'll see you next Tuesday with the end of the Halley's Rainbow, but until then, take care of each other, and don't stop reaching for what could be. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Halley's Children is written by Serafina Smith using the Fate system. The players are Cameron, Courtney, David, and Eli, with Serafina as the GM. Editing by Eli Gallagher. We hope you enjoyed the drama, laughter, and chaos as much as we did. If you had a blast, don't forget to share the love and tell your friends. Until next time, keep searching for the rainbow.